Hey guys, it's your boy, Dark Reku here with What If Issei has the Big Three Inner Demons Part 6. Now, I know throughout this whole what if, mostly in the kind of beginning, what if, blah blah blah, I kind of only mentioned about the whole Shinigami powers. I might go into probably Part 7 into mostly the Joy one, maybe. If I get to a certain part, before I end off this what if, or mostly end off this part of this what if, I will kind of maybe, I don't know. I'm still going on with the story in my head, so yeah, mostly hearing music, and if I hear music, the story kind of gets smoother. But yeah, no, before I keep going on, even with hearing music and kind of thinking in my head and how the story might go, um, it's in some what if cases, usually it doesn't, instead goes into like three different parts, and I usually try to fit them all together, or might just cut some of them out of the whole story timeline or whatever, and just go on with one of them. I might regret it later, but yeah. But not the point. That's how my what if is made. But not the point. Um, but of course, why I'm explaining this is because in what's it called? What if Issei was or wanted to become the strongest swordsman slash gunslinger? I have three different parts of how I want it to go. It's just, do I try to connect them together, or do I just go in one of the path and then try to connect them later in the or going on further in the story? Yeah, I have like three different parts, and I just don't know how to connect them entirely fully. But yeah, also for that one, mostly Issei is going to be not having an entirely harem. No, not really. I mean, in this one, he's not neither. But not the point. I don't really care about the whole ships that much. I mean, they're not that important to the story. I usually go on with other things, but yeah. But yeah, I really don't fully base that on. Yeah, well, whatever. Not the point. Let me get into this what if. And also, before I keep going on with this what if, I should mention that I got a, what's it called, another what if in my head, and that is basically mostly a Madaka what if. So I might be doing Madaka box what ifs later on, and also yes, I am going to do also one for Tatsumi, and yeah, um, but not the point. Let me begin this what if. Let me shut the fuck up. And I also maybe this week I will have to stop uploading on my second channel and going on my first channel and start trying to release some Bleach what ifs, because I've been holding on to some of them because of the fact that I have way too many what ifs and I should try to finish them, but I get too damn lazy and I get too damn bored at the same time when I rewatch them. But yeah, from the fact that I kind of had done like Naruto what if for about almost 2 years, so yeah. So that's why I get kind of extremely bored. But not the point. I would try to finish them, but yeah. I know no one really... I mean, if you know about my first channel, my main channel, then you know that, yeah, this is my second channel. But whatever. No, I know I'm bored. I'm just boring... What? Not boring. I mean, I know I am just boring your... Well, mostly I'm making this story kind of boring right now. No, not boring right now. Mostly I'm boring you to death. So I should shut the fuck up and go on with this what if. Okay, so let me begin. So we begin into Issei going into his classroom. Even what's it called, Leonard goes into his own classroom, and Sanchi, he goes off to do whatever. But what? Because, well, his teacher isn't there. But yeah, so he wants to just kind of go do whatever. But we go into Issei's POV. Issei is right now thinking in his head. Now he knows that, what's it called, the fact that the only thing that he's been trying to fight against the Hollows, he has gotten a little bit stronger from the whole Riser battle. Mostly thanks to the fact that he has the not Shinigami mask, mostly the Hollow mask kind of halfly control. It's mostly the Hollow mask itself. It's kind of hard for him to control it, because of the fact that Shiro is mostly the one that's in control half the time. But yeah, because Issei doesn't want to go berserk on accident. But yeah, but not the point. So of course he hasn't had a really good control on the Hollow Mask. He doesn't know how to fully activate it without needing the help of Shiro, but yeah, it's just there. Of course, he knows that his two Zanpakutos, or mostly one of them, is strong enough to fight against normal, what's it called, hollows, and maybe also a certain fried chicken. But it's kind of weak when he kind of keeps using the Shikai release, not Shinkai, the Shikai release. The reason why is because he knows it's not at its full power. It's only at like half of its power. Mostly it's Shikai release. He does know that he needs to somehow learn how to use the other second sword. The second sword that's basically, mostly since Zanpakutos are kind of a recipient of that, of the soul, mostly Issei is using only half. Well, not half. It is the two Zanpakutos are kind of a recipient of the soul, but the other things, like the three inner demons, are also a recipient of his soul, but emotions. But yeah. But of course, he's using only like a fragment of his power. Using the hollow power, yes, he doesn't know how to go KCM just yet, or any of the, what's it called, other transformation before KCM. He barely even knows how to use chakra. That chakra Rasengan that he used was accidentally he accidentally added lightning, making the vanishing Rasengan, similar to that what Baruto did, and what's it called, Baruto Next Generation, which he doesn't like that series, but it's decent enough for him. He only likes the manga. But not the point. He kind of hates the fact that he made the Rasengan so tiny and small. He wish he made a bigger Rasengan, but yeah. Of course, that's not the point. He doesn't know how to use chakra that well. And going with his Gumma abilities from his joy side, mostly his joy emotion inner demon, he still hasn't even learned how to use any of it. He hasn't even touched that side at all. He's been focusing on his Shinigami powers way too much, which in his thoughts he's been not really focusing on them entirely. Not mostly, but yeah. Damn it, ant, fuck off. Sorry, I was killing an ant, but not the point. But of course, Issei is trying to think of a way onto how he can probably unlock his second Zanpakuto. Because if he unlocks his second Zanpakuto and try to learn his Shikai release, he will not be able to use half of the power, mostly the other half of his soul power of the Shinigami, mostly Shinigami powers. Now, he knows that, mostly if he managed to get that, he will also try to learn how to go Bankai. Bankai or Hollow Mask, which one he actually thinks of first. But mostly the first thought in his head is he needs to learn how to get his other Zanpakuto's name. And, mostly learn about him. And then learn how to activate his Shikai release. He's thinking that the Zanpakuto, the one that he has unlocked right now, the Golden Dragon one, is similar to that of the other one. But he doesn't know what it's called, and he is trying to figure it out. But yeah. Of course, even though it's been telling Issei its name, he cannot hear it because it's so distorted. So, it's either Issei is too weak to actually understand its, mostly name, or Issei is blocking it out somehow. He's thinking it of Ichigo's problem in Bleach. Mostly, Ichigo had a problem in trying to learn about Zangetsu's name, which it's either from the fact that he kind of didn't hear it at first, most of the time, but it's not a similar case with him, or the fact that he kind of, he kind of, relied on the sword, not the sword, mostly used, not his head or brain to think about it, and didn't actually go in instant, mostly, yeah. There's a lot of things that mostly Issei is trying to think and how he can't hear on the other sword's name. Now, of course, his Zanpakuto, the Golden Dragon one, is also kind of distorted, but he managed to hear it. So, it's either a problem with his own, physical strength, his mental strength, or something in just between those two things. Now, of course, he's not forgetting about Drake. He knows that the Red Dragon Emperor has just been there, sitting. He hasn't even trained on how to use the boosted gear well enough, so he's right now thinking in how to train with it. Now, of course, that's what he's all thinking about. He's not even paying attention to the classroom. He doesn't care. There's really no one in this classroom that he really cares that much. There is his two idiotic friends, Matsui and Morohama, which he doesn't see Morohama, but he sees Matsui, and Matsui is just kind of looking at his phone, which Issei kind of looks at it just for just a small glance, just to see what the fuck he's doing exactly, just to see, because he hasn't really talked to his friends entirely, because, well, Morohama or Matsui kind of do hate him because of his new looks, but yeah, but not the point. Of course, well, he does glance at his friend's phone, and, well, one thing is for sure, he's not looking at the Piho or any of that stuff. He's not even looking at, yeah, you get the point. He is kind of just looking at weapons entirely. Issei said, oh shit, he's gonna be the school shooter. This is where Issei is kind of thinking in his head. Now, of course, Matsui didn't glance at him even once, because he doesn't actually see Issei kind of doing this to him. Mostly glancing at his phone, but yeah. But of course, he kind of just sees Matsui kind of just looking at, well, mostly guns, swords, and other stuff. And of course, Issei is pretty shocked to believe maybe Matsui has another habit that doesn't involve girls or any of that. Which he's pretty shocked. Now, he has learned, well, he has kind of had what's called Matsui and Morohama as good friends, but he doesn't really pay attention to them. So, of course, he might have ignored this kind of fact from his friend, or mostly a childhood friend of his. But yeah. Now, of course, he's not entirely good friends with his childhood friends entirely. Which he is friends with what's called both Matsui and Morohama, but they aren't considered best friends. Actually, both Sanji and Leonard aren't even his best friends. They're like friends, allies, and yeah, you get the point. But considered best friends is mostly what's it called. The only person that he can think of being best friends, which when they're either a child, is none other than Junko. But right now, they're kind of just awkward with each other right now. So of course, thinking of Irina also is yeah, no, fuck no, he did call him, or mostly her, Iron. So of course, she's pissed. She's probably pissed. So yeah. But of course, he can see his friend just looking at the different guns and stuff. He selected a couple of guns and of course put them on like his wish list or something, because yes, there's he was on the shop, but yeah. And of course, where Issei noticed what kind of guns that, well, Matsui kind of got. Now, of course, they were expensive when Issei kind of narrowed his eyes, but of course, this is where it says, you know, purchase, what's it called? It still says purchase approved. Yeah, that's what basically kind of caught Issei's eye, because some of the guns, no, they cost over $300. And some of them were only pistols. Well, some of them were like small handguns, not pistols. Small handguns, or even what's called large guns that were almost like 3,000. But yeah. But he is seeing this, and this is where, well, he's confused. Because he knows one thing. Japan does have a, what's it called, outlaw with guns. You can't really have guns. So he doesn't even know how Matsui is able to shop for these guns, though. He doesn't know if Amazon Prime are letting him fucking be able to just shop for guns. This is where, well, he's like, nah, he's definitely being the school shooter. This is where Matsui managed to glance up, and of course, thinking that someone was looking at him. This is where, well, Issei kind of looks away, and this is where, well, he's looking at his, like, book and other things. And this is where, well, Matsui glances towards him, and of course he narrows his eyes a little bit, but this is where he goes back to his phone and just changes the page to kind of be into mostly him reading some manga or something. This is where Issei said, huh, quite sketchy as hell for Matsui to do something like that. Yeah, whatever. This is where, well, Matsui just kind of look at his phone. This is where Issei kind of just ignores it, and this is where Issei just pull out some earbuds, puts him in his ear, and starts hearing music because he doesn't care. Now, of course, no one else kind of noticed Issei doing this, or mostly noticed Matsui or Issei that much, because Issei is quiet, and some girls might glance at him a couple times, but they're right now paying attention to the teacher. Now, the teacher doesn't really pay attention to Issei or Matsui, but yeah. But Issei right now, he is hearing what's it called. So, the song he's hearing right now is called Call Me by Shinedown, and of course, this is how a couple of lyrics, if you have never heard it. Call me a sinner, call me a saint. Yeah, you get the point. I'm not gonna start singing all the lyrics, but yeah. I just remember those lyrics because I just like hear the song on a daily basis, so I'm just kidding. But yeah. This is where, well, he's hearing the song, and this is where, well, he is kind of like just looking at the board. Not really, he's just spaced out again. But yeah. This is where we go into a POV of, well, Sanji. Sanji is right now looking around. Mostly he's patrolling the hallways because he is, well, a part of the council room. But of course, where, well, Sanji is right now thinking in his head, how do I get stronger? He figured out how to get stronger by taking life force from, well, creatures. But the problem is, the purple demonic looking doll that he has, it uses his purple flames, and of course it gets stronger if it takes his life force and uses it upon either himself or his master. Now, of course, this is where Sanji is thinking that he should probably go on more raids against bad creatures, like, what's it called, stray demons. He doesn't know if, what's it called, the purple demon would be able to take its life force. He does know that the, what's it called, stray demons do have life force just because they are also, well, they used to be demons slash humans, but their greed and other stuff might have taken them to the path of wrong, and he does know maybe they still have the life force and other stuff. They're not fully monsters. They're not like hollows. But of course, he is right now thinking about that. And this is where, well, he is trying to figure out how to get stronger. He's not like the Shinigami or the Quincy. He's not like Issei or even what's it called, Leonard, but yeah. But this is where, well, he's trying to figure out how to train. He can always try to like get his physical stats up by just like training on his body. He also got to learn how to actually use the sacred gear properly because, well, Sona really didn't taught him that well and how to actually use it. He only knows that he can extend the line and then use what's called his doll to use purple flames. It doesn't burn the extendo line, but you got to figure out how to use it. He doesn't fully know about the dragon's name entirely. He does know that he has it in pieces because, well, the actual real dragon is supposed to be in jail somewhat or something like that. But yeah. But of course, well, he's right now trying to think. But of course, well, he then hears a voice in his head. Hey, master. This is where, well, or mostly, he calls, what's it called, Sanji, blonde hair, dark blonde hair. This is where, well, Sanji say, wait, where are you? He tries to put the ring towards his ear, and the demon inside him says, or mostly in the ring, says, you know we can talk telepathically. Since I'm part of you, and you're the one to summon me, and I did choose you as my master, whatever, dirtbag. But if you want to get stronger, there's a couple ways to get stronger. This is where Sanji says, I'm not going to eat other people's souls. Well, there was one of them, but there's a couple other ways to get stronger. This is where, well, Sanji kind of intently listens to, what's it called, what the inner demon, well, mostly not the demon, the doll is going to ask him about. We can always kind of, well, train in the, what's it called, stored up power that I always kind of absorb. During battles, I absorb the power and I might put it inside my body. I might grow a little bit taller every time I do that. But it's only being stored. It's not basically being trained. And I'm not getting the powers instantly. I might get fragments of powers of people or entities I absorb. This is where Sanji is listening intently, and this is where, well, Sanji then kind of snaps in his head, and right now light ball appears. This is where, well, he takes the light ball off his head and just throws it somewhere. But this is where, well, Sanji says, wait, you're saying you can absorb powers. You're not just absorbing their life form. I am absorbing their life form, but I'm also taking their powers, fragments of it. So does that mean, since we're fighting against that fallen angel, that means, yes, you have now a small fragment of being able to use light spears and light stuff or whatever the fallen angel can do. Sanji says, oh my fucking god. Wait, does that mean if fighting against a hollow, would you be able to take their powers away? The hollow? Well, I only kind of activate that ability when we're fighting at the fallen. But fighting as a hollow, maybe if it was a special type of hollow, a very special type, where it has actual special abilities and not just foot soldiers or hollows. I see. So maybe on what's it called? Not a wrong card. I accidentally did say a wrong card last time, but it was not on a wrong card because on a wrong card it's like a humanoid kind of hollow. Instead it said an Ajuki. No, not an Ajuka. Not a Ajuka, but what was the other word? This is where Agilios and Vassalor classes might be a thing that I might be able to absorb, or mostly Sanji question. This is what, well, the doll says that will probably be the best type of people that I can absorb fragment power from. I see. And I'm guessing you didn't have a previous user before coming towards me. No, we dolls are just summoned out of nowhere, created, born before when we get summoned. So of course, you summon me out of incident, accident, and wanting to get stronger. So of course, I was born in an instant, so I don't know anything. This is where, mostly Sanji's thinking, saying, I see. So, you don't know your own abilities entirely. You don't know how strong you can get. You don't know your limits. Well then, if you don't know your limits, would you be also to be able to absorb, how should I say, Strike Devil's abilities? Well, since I don't know what the hell a Strike Devil is, but looking through your memories, I can tell that it's something like a hollow. But they're not dead fully. Yes. Would you be able to absorb their abilities? Of whatever the fuck it is. Well, if it isn't something stupid, the abilities. Now, from looking through your memories, there's some of them are stupid. But if it's something quite interesting, I can actually absorb it. Maybe if the, Straight Devil is weaker than you can probably absorb it fully. Well, taking fragments. This is where, Sanji thinks about it and says, holy shit, that seems overpowered as hell. Would you be able to absorb, let's say, against a battle, just a friendly spar battle with Issei, against his own powers? The Shinigami powers I probably won't be able to absorb. Neither is with the other 3 type of abilities he probably has. Sacred Gears, I don't really know. If you're talking about his Sacred Gear, the Zanpakutos, or just his Holified powers and whatever else he has. Sanji says, shit, right. Wait, Sacred Gears, that reminds me. Can you absorb Sacred Gears? Again, don't know. This is where, Sanji says, I see. We gotta definitely try to test this out. What about mana? Can you absorb mana? Isn't mana connected to life force? That is true. So I guess yes. But consider yes or no. Whatever. We definitely need to test this out. This is where, Sanji is thinking in his head and right now grinning like a madman, thinking that he will become stronger and stronger than Issei. Fuck Issei and his goddamn retarded weird powers that he can get. He's going to get stronger his own way. But yeah. This is where, he's kind of walking off and just trying to look for anyone that's not in class right now. But yeah. This is where, we go into Leonard's POV. Leonard is right now asleep. But this is where he's not fully asleep. He is right now just thinking in his head. How to get stronger. How to really get stronger. He can always train on his Quincy abilities and his physical stats. But he doesn't know, he does know how to get stronger and other stuff. But in a short amount of time going against S, or whatever the guy's name exactly is, would he be enough to fight against him? Now, of course, he knows that Issei is strong enough. It's just he still hasn't mastered. He doesn't really have a mastery of his own powers. Sanji just unlocked his powers a couple of days ago, so of course, he doesn't have a mastery of his own powers. Now, he knows that he has been a Quincy for a while, but still, he doesn't really have a mastery of his own powers. So he just needs to train and focus in with his, Onryasu, powers, mostly the, powers of a Quincy, to kind of fight against, S. But yeah, this is where, he is right now just trying to think, but yeah. But this is where, we go into mostly Well, not a time skip. Well, yeah, time skip. And of course, well, the school day has ended. Issei is going home. And of course, well, when Issei gets home, he kind of sees his family talking to Shinkai and asking him and how school was, well, mostly how school was. And this is where, well, or mostly, they haven't actually put him in school just yet, but yeah. But of course, well, Shinkai was just giggling and laughing, saying it was good, it was fun playing outside in the park, but yeah. This is where, when Issei got home, this is where he sat down and kind of pats Shinkai in the head, saying, Shinkai, how was your day? This is where, well, Shinkai smiles and says, it was good, really good. I got to meet other people in the park. This is where, well, he starts kind of explaining what happened, but yeah. This is where Issei is smiling at him with a gentle smile. Of course, well, his parents are having hearts in their, well, mostly just having, well, not hearts, mostly just having their heart kind of melt at the cute sight that Issei is doing with Shinkai, mostly patting him in the head, like if he was like a father or something, which he is, kind of, but yeah, not worried about it. Does it work well? Issei is kind of smiling and saying, well, I'm gonna go upstairs and wash up, and then I'll be going to my room. Are you gonna go into my room, Shinkai, or are you gonna just do something? Shinkai says, oh, I'm going to my room. Does it work well? Shinkai has already washed up, so of course he kind of goes into Issei's room. He falls asleep, or mostly just lays on the bed waiting for his father. Now, of course, it worked well. Issei washes up, and this is where he gets out of the bath. But this is where, well, someone comes in, and it's none other than Azia. Azia says, Issei, would you mind helping me? This is where Issei walks past, saying, sorry about that, Azia, but I need to get to my room. I gotta make sure that Shinkai isn't scared of the dark or anything. This is where, well, Azia kind of looks back right now with kind of a saddened look a little bit in her eye. And this is where she just nodded. Now, of course, this is where, well, she just tried to a little bit seduce Issei, but Issei just said nah in the most childish way ever. No, I'm just kidding. But of course, this is where, well, Issei gets to his room, and this is where, he kind of lays upon his bed. Now, of course, this is where Shinkai is next to him, just kind of, well, mostly having his own, like, stuffy. Yes, Shinkai does have a stuffed kind of penguin that mostly Issei did bought him before kind of coming home, but yeah. And of course, where, well, he's sleeping with the stuffed penguin, kind of hugging it. Now, of course, where Issei's smiling. Thank God for him to buy the penguin, but yeah. Now, of course, the penguin there cost like a couple of dollars. It was kind of expensive, but he didn't mind. This is where, well, Issei falls asleep for a little bit, but this is where, when it becomes like 3 a.m., he wakes up, and of course, this is where he doesn't yawn too loud to wake up Shinkai, but this is where Issei kind of just like pats him in the head again. And of course, where, well, Issei's got a change of clothing, a dark gray jacket, a black scarf, black fingerless gloves, black pants, and of course, black running shoes. This is where, well, Issei, well, mostly the black pants are actually like sweatpants, but yeah. This is where Issei, he kind of yawns a little bit, but covering up his mouth so he doesn't wake up Shinkai. And this is where, well, Issei smiles at Shinkai, and this is where he jumps out of his window. Of course, closing it back, but yeah. But this is where, well, Issei kind of like lands on the ground pretty softly and starts kind of running off. Now, the reason why he did this is because he wants to train. And really, he doesn't have much training in the morning or even in the afternoon. Because morning, he has school. Afternoon, he has to do what's it called contracts for a devil named Maria's Grammar. Which he's kind of getting pissed off with the whole contracts. Of course, he did kind of get punished for the fact that he wasn't there when a fallen angel was there. Because, yeah. But this is where Issei kind of explained that he can't really sense mana. So, of course, he doesn't know what he wants, what's it called, Ria to do for him. But, yeah. This is what, well, and he said he was kind of in the bathroom during that time. So, whatever. Ria's kind of takes the, what's it called? Takes the, we'll see, the, well, excuse, but yeah. This is what, well, Issei kind of just walked away. Now, of course, Sanji wasn't too lucky, so of course he did get punished. Even though he can't really sense mana, but yeah, he can definitely sense a danger sense. But yeah, and so not really done by his excuse. But of course, this is where, well, Issei is right now kind of outside in the dark, just training. But of course, he's mostly doing some running laps, like running around a park, or mostly not a park, mostly at a pond, just running around it. And the pond is pretty big, so of course he's running around it, just so he can get his like exercise. Well, mostly working on his body and like doing crunches and other stuff. But yeah, of course Drake knows what Issei is doing, just trying to get his like mostly body strength up and getting enough stamina, because mostly the sacred gear he has is kind of mostly reliant on the strength and physical stats of Issei, because Issei barely has any mana. But yeah, but not the point. Issei also kind of meditates during this time. Now, of course, he did wake up at 3 a.m. Now, he will definitely go back home somewhere near 5, but right now it's like 4, what's it called? Number 4. It's like 3:55. And of course, he's still just doing physical training. After that, he's going to do meditating training, like meditating, to figure out how to control his chakra and figure out also to control his like Shinigami, or mostly not Shinigami powers. Mostly his Ryotsu, and also the Holofine mask, somehow. But yeah, and this is where, well, he's also kind of training and figuring out how to actually use his Gumma Gumma, well, mostly Gumma Gumma abilities, not hurting himself entirely. But yeah, so of course he's just training by trying to stretch out his hand and trying to grab something. But of course, he kind of misses, and usually the hand comes back and smashes him in the face. But yeah. Now, of course, he's just training on that. But yeah. He wants to be quite versatile with all his kind of abilities. Now, he knows he won't be able to do this every single time. Or not every single time. He knows that he can't train in all his abilities in only 2 hours. So yeah, 2 hours. Because he got to get home, he has to get a little bit more sleep in, and then kind of go on with life. And yeah, now of course he kind of does this just because he knows he needs to really get stronger. But yeah, but that's not the point. We go into mostly the POV of Sanji. Sanji did something similar, but mostly woke up at like 2, and since his parents are asleep, he kind of already kind of snuck out and kind of went to kind of fight against strays or something just in general, and using his doll. Now, of course, he's walking around the, what's it called, night, with his purple ring in his, what's it called, right, or not right, left hand in his middle finger, and of course, he also in his, what's it called, right hand, he does have a sacred gear, not out just yet, he will summon it, but of course, he's just walking around. Now, of course, what Sanji is wearing is a purple, what's it called? So Sanji is wearing a, what's it called, like a black shirt underneath, but of course he's wearing a purple, like a dark purple jacket. There's a windbreaker. Of course, he has what's it called, black, just yeah, black kind of sweats. Of course, this is where he's having running shoes, and he's working on his stamina and other stuff. But yeah, of course, this is where he's trying to find any creatures, just in case like strays or anything comes out of nowhere. He will use his doll to fight against him. But yeah, now of course he is kind of training to 2 all the way towards the 4 o'clock. But yeah, just to get his sleep in. But yeah, because he does have a lot of work to do. He's not like Issei, where Issei is able to just freely relax, kind of. Or mostly he's not thinking of Issei, because Issei also has a problem with being with his king. But yeah, of course, then there's what's it called, mostly, what's it called, Leonard. Now, Leonard, we go into Leonard's POV. Leonard right now has a jacket that has a cross. Think of it similar to that of not Urahara, mostly, what was his name again? Oh, fuck, I forgot about the Quincy and Bleach name. God damn it. But of course, he kind of has a similar kind of like white jacket to that. Of course, where he does kind of have a cape. Don't worry about that. But of course, he does have kind of these white pants and white shoes. And he's right now training near a, what's it called, mostly near a waterfall. And he's just blasting into the waterfall, trying to make his like blasting, well, mostly from his guns, his blaster shots to become much more bigger in the water. But yeah, he's just shooting multiple times. It started out from being small to a little bit bigger, because he's focusing on enough Ryotsu to shoot out more blasters and heavier, mostly to kill anything much faster. But yeah, This is where, well, he's focusing on them, but of course he's also trying to rapid the speed to focus on them faster and faster, but also keep up with the whole like impact of the attack. But yeah, this is where, well, he's training on it. Now he gets tired a little bit. This is where he kind of relaxes for a little bit and then goes on back to training. Now, of course, this is where, well, Leonard is kind of well shaped into like stamina and stuff, but he still needs to just train in his Quincy ability for right now. He will kind of do his physical stats if it becomes a limited hesitation with his Quincy abilities, but yeah. But right now he's training with his Quincy powers. But this is where we go into kind of a week of this happening. Now, nothing else interesting happened during this week. Mostly Issei might have bumped into Junko for a little bit. But of course, it worked well. Sometimes he read and a little bit trying to just stay his calmness with Junko. But yeah. Now, the Exorcist has visited the Devils. And of course, has decided to fight against Issei. Well, mostly... Well, Irina did fight against Issei. But of course, this is where... Well... She couldn't really fight against Issei entirely because, well, mostly Kiva was going against the Zenobia, and of course, the two other exorcists were just watching this. Now, of course, they don't really care about the odds here or whatever, but this is where Issei is still like a mostly like a friend figure towards Ozzy, so yeah, but not like a lover figure or anything. But this is where, well, Issei was fighting against Irina during the time when they did kind of visit. Now, of course, Irina was kind of shocked to believe Issei looks like this. And looks, oh my god, she is right now having, like, she kind of is blushing a lot. Looking around Issei, but yeah. Now, Issei has gotten his, like, stamina much more tolerable, so he doesn't get too tired. But, of course, he did pull out his, like, Zanpakuto, mostly the golden dragon sword. And this is where he rushes towards Irina. Now, Irina was kind of shocked to believe that the sword has a very holy property kind of ability on it. But it wasn't a holy sword. But still, it was strong enough to fight against an Excalibur fragment and almost destroy the Excalibur fragment, cracking it. This is where, when Irina notices, she widened her eyes. Even the two exorcists widened their eyes when they were kind of watching this. Now, of course, they had their hoods on. One girl had kind of like darkish, yellowish hair. And of course, this is where, well, of course, not darker blonde hair. No, she had lightish blonde hair, like goldenish color a little bit. Of course, she had like yellowish, goldenish eyes. And this is where, well, she had kind of a weapon behind her, like a gun. It was like a grenade launcher. This is where, well, she was wearing kind of like a military outfit similar. Well, it wasn't a military outfit, kind of. She did kind of have a cleavage kind of showing a little bit. Well, a lot, but yeah. Of course, well, she won her eyes when she noticed it was called Issei's sword, but she cracked the Excalibur fragment. But yeah, this is where next to her is her kind of friend, who kind of has a rosy kind of, yeah, rosy blondish hair with reddish eyes. Of course, this is where she also kind of had a weapon behind her, kind of strap on, but yeah. And it looks to be a rifle, but yeah. This is where she went her eyes to seeing, well, Irina's sword almost crack in an instant. Irina's eyes widen in an instant. Her purplish eyes just widen in an instant. Issei's sword didn't even crack. Instead, Issei looks at this and grins for a little bit. Now, of course, his physical strength also did increase during the time he was training, but yeah. This happened during Friday, but yeah. When the week was about to be over. This is where, well, he grins because thanks to his physical training, he finally got in stronger a little bit, or not a little bit, a lot stronger during his training, but yeah. He didn't stop for a couple of, like, well, however minutes he kind of trained. He trained for a good hours. So, yeah. And even when he didn't have contracts, he went home just to train in his room. And of course, Shinkai did kind of question why his father was training. But this is where Issei said to protect you. In a very kind and gentle, warm smile. And even though he was sweating. Now, of course, Shinkai smiled. And of course, Shinkai also trained with his father. But yeah. This is where it well, because Shinkai didn't want to be a burden. And wanted to actually help his father. But yeah. This is where, well, Issei was trying to also teach Shinkai in how to summon out his, what's it called, mostly sword. Because, well, he finds out that Shinkai is, well, somewhat similar to that of an Aran card. But yeah. But mostly the human state Aran card. Where like a Shinigami managed to get the Holofy mask. Now, of course, and not the other way around, where he was a foster lord or something like that. No. But this is where, well, Issei is trying to figure out to get, what should I call it, Shinkai's sword, which he managed to get Shinkai's sword, and it's a long blue katana. But for right now, for his case, of Shinkai's case, it's actually short, but it's long when he gets older, because, yeah. But it's a long blue katana, and it's right now in a Zanpakuto state, because he has lots of Ryatsu. But this is where, well, the clothing that he wears when he activates his Shinigami abilities is, well, mostly that he wears similar to that of like a captain, or not a captain, a lieutenant uniform, but it's all kind of dark blue and kind of black at the same time. Now, of course, Issei's outfit, well, mostly, yeah. Issei's outfit is basically similar to that of like an Espada, but yeah. It's like the opposite kind of colors, or not opposite colors, mostly similar, just white and black, like an Espada, but yeah. Think of it like whites. Mostly Shiro's kind of outfit, but yeah. This is where, well, Issei is right now in the outfit of like a captain uniform, but don't worry. Or not a captain uniform, a Espada uniform, but don't worry. But this is where, well, he does manage to cling with the sword again with Irina, and it does chip off a little bit of the blade. This is where Irina won her eyes. Now, of course, Irina doesn't know if she should keep fighting. This is where Issei grins and says, "Where are you going, Irina? We haven't even finished our battle, so I don't think it's a good idea to run away." This is where, well, or he doesn't call her Irina, but mostly Irene, in which Irina gets annoyed and says, "Stop calling me that. You already know my name. Stop calling me that." Issei teases a little bit and says, "Why should I call you Irina then? Or do you want me to call you Irene, or do you want me to call you Irina-chan?" This is where Irina's face becomes pinkish color, and this is where, well, Arias notices and she gets a little bit more jealous in how Issei is kind of flirting with other girls, and not her, because Issei just calls her prisoner or whatever. But yeah. Now, of course, this is where, well, Irina says, whatever. This is where she uses her kind of Excalibur Fragments ability, and this is where she rushes with blinding speed straight towards Issei, but this is where Issei says, "Oh, no you don't. Shikai release. Kogono Dragono." This is where, well, he rushes, but this is where instead of launching a golden dragon to smash against Irina, he instead kind of puts into the sword, and the sword does have a kind of shinier, kind of golden aura. Now, of course, this is where, well, when Issei clashes with Irina's sword, this time it shatters into a million pieces, the sword in an instant. This is where Irina winds her eyes. This is where Issei has this, like, evilish grin to his face. This is where when Zenobia notices and what's it called, Kiba, their eyes just widen in an instant with dinner plates. This is where, well, the size of dinner plates. They widen their eyes just seeing how Issei easily destroys the kind of Excalibur fragment, mimicking, I think it was called. This is where Irina just kind of falls down to the ground instantly because she realized that her Excalibur fragment was destroyed in an instant. This is where she looks up at Issei and says, "Why, Issei? Why we do this? How am I gonna be an exorcist?" This is where she's crying a little bit. Issei says, "Calm down, don't worry, I'll fix it for you." This is where, well, Issei kind of crouched down. He's still kind of having the golden dragon aura into his sword, which he just stabs in the ground near what's it called, where the Excalibur fragment would be at. And of course regenerates it with the golden dragon energy. This is where, well, the Excalibur fragment mimic kind of came back to life, but a little bit much stronger than normal. This is where Issei takes his sword back out, and of course he just, well, mostly turns off his, well, not turns off, mostly he kind of just throws his sword up in the air, mostly his Zanpakuto, which it just dissipates into golden energy and just went back into his body. This is where, when he looks back at Irina, he smiles with such a gentle smile and says, "So how was that, Irina-chan? Do you realize that I'm much more stronger than you?" Meh. This is where, well, Issei sticks out his tongue, and Irina blushes in an instant, kind of still being called Chan, but at the same time, Issei this time just stick out his tongue just to be kind of funny with it. And this is where Irina, she wanted to do something that would have probably given her sins a lot. This is where, well, Irina kind of blushes and says, "Yeah, I see that." This is where Zenobia tries to attack Issei from behind, and Issei turns around. Before Zenobia can even hit Issei, a shot almost hit her. This is where, well, she managed to jump back, luckily, but she uses the Excalibur fragment, or mostly the Destroyer, tried to block the shot, but this is where the bullet managed to just rip through, the Excalibur fragment. And she could not really dodge fully. It managed to cut her a little bit in the back, mostly of her tight kind of like black leather outfit. But yeah, this is where, well, she does got this weird kind of like scrape, and this is where it's like a cut. This is where she kind of falls down to the ground. Now, of course, Kiba could not react fast enough to stop Zenobia from actually attacking Issei. Issei chuckles, and of course, where Issei gets up and chuckles and say, "You got it stronger, didn't you, Leonard?" Leonard walks through the forest, or mostly through the tree line, and of course, where, well, Leonard looks completely different. This is where, well, Leonard kind of puts both of his guns away by turning into blue energy, and this is where, mostly blue energy, but transformed back into two kind of like bracelets that has similar crosses, but they're mostly looks like to be stars. And he had a white outfit. Mostly his outfit kind of contained to be looking like this. So his outfit kind of looked like this, without the wing, but yeah, just the outfit itself. But yeah, except for the tie and the other things. Don't worry about that. I think this is, if I can remember right, I think this is what's it called. What was his name? So yeah, it looked more like this, but yeah, before it started dissipating into blue energy, but yeah. This is where, well, he was mostly standing there with just his kind of regular, kind of like standard just outfit most of the time. This is where, well, Issei chuckles, and of course the Shinigami outfit was mostly dissipating, just turning back into his school uniform. This is where, well, right now, Zenobia can just see a giant bullet hole through, Excalibur Destroyer. This is where she widened her eyes, never expecting someone to easily just destroy her sword. Now, of course, this is where, well, Issei chuckles and says, "It seems that you got it stronger, didn't it?" Issei whispers towards Leonard. Leonard chuckles and says, "Of course I did." This is where, well, right now, Leonard walks past him, and of course goes to Zenobia. This is where, well, he kind of uses his blue energy to heal her in the back, which she looks at him, was glaring at him, because basically she thought that he was doing something. This is where, well, he basically just healed her, and this is where he looks at the Destroyer sword, and just uses a little bit of his reality to kind of heal the sword back to normal, by regenerating back. Of course, the Excalibur fragment has a little bit of the Quincy ability, but now it just dissipates out of nowhere, but yeah. This is where, well, right now, Leonard kind of just grins at her and saying, "Well, there, do you feel any better?" This is where, well, Zenobia kind of narrows her eyes and says, "Who exactly are you?" This is where, well, Leonard chuckles and says, "Me? Well, I'm just your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man." This is where Issei chuckles, right now bursting in laughter and says, "That is the most stupidest and cheesiest line I ever heard. Shut the hell up. Isn't that copyright or something?" This is where, well, Issei laughs in the background. This is where Leonard looks at him and says, "Shut the fuck up. I can do whatever I want to." This is where, well, Issei is chuckling and saying, "Oh, really? Can you really do everything, well, anything you want?" This is where, well, Leonard says, "Shut up." This is where, well, Issei says, "Oh, whatever. Well, I'll be going back to class." This is where, well, Leonard says, "Class, isn't school over?" "Right, school is over." "Whatever, I'm gonna go home." This is where, well, Leonard says, "I'm also going home, but yeah." This is where they walk off talking, but yeah. And this is where everyone just looks at them, just confused, blinking, but yeah. This is where, well, mostly Ria's thought of how Leonard is much more powerful than normal. He easily destroyed through a Excalibur fragment and made a giant bullet hole. Now, when Kiba examined the Excalibur and where the hole appeared, or mostly the hole of it, and then looks towards where the bullet went towards, it went through like 3 different trees before stopping and exploding. This is where, when Kiba notices, he widens his eyes. The power of it was so much stronger than normal. It wasn't holy energy. It wasn't even magic entirely. Leonard is a mysterious person, but Issei seems to just get along with him, but yeah, very easily. This is where, well, Kiba sighs and doesn't really understand much about Issei's powers, and either for Leonard's powers neither. But for just sure in case, he knows that Leonard can basically use guns, but yeah. Which just shocks him, but yeah, he doesn't care that much, but he's surprised that both Issei and Leonard can easily destroy the Excalibur fragments without a care in the world, but they heal it because they want to be kind of nice, but yeah. if Kiba had that power, he thinks of it in his head. If he had that power, he would definitely destroy all the what's it called, Excalibur fragments. He did not care. He would not care. Its revenge is basically his dream to do that. But of course, well, he's just saddened that Issei or Leonard didn't just fully destroy them. He would have been kind of happy if both of them would have just done that. But yeah, this is where, well, Zenobia is kind of having a little bit tinted blush, just looking at the back of the head of, well, Leonard, but yeah, his dark brown hair, and Irina is looking at the back of the head of a silver haired boy who is just walking along with, what's it called, Leonard. Now, of course, this is where, well, that was happening. Everyone else just kind of saw this and just blinked a couple times, but yeah. This is where Ria's sighs. She wanted to call Issei back here just to explain himself, but Issei already left. Now, this is where we go into the POV of Leonard and Issei. Issei and Leonard kind of stop talking randomly, and this is where they get serious. You felt that, didn't you? Yeah, I did. Another hollow. Possibly. Yeah. Well, we should be getting there. When they're getting to the hollow, the giant hollow beast right now screeches and tries to attack someone. A girl who is already unconscious seems to look to have, what's it called? She seems to have like this, like, whitish hair. And of course, not whitish hair. She had kind of like greenish hair, and of course she was passed out. But before Leonard and Issei gets there, a purple, well, mostly it looked to be a purple arrow smashes upon the hollow mask in an instant. Right now, mostly the purple like arrow smashes into it and combusts it into purple flames, destroying the hollow in an instant. And that's where, when they look towards what's it called, who did that, it was none other than what's it called, Sanji. Sanji's hair has a little bit of purple highlights. One of his eyes is glowing purple, and of course he has a purple horn. But of course, not just that, he had the purple horn in his like left side, and in his what's it called left side, he actually has like a purple flame wing. It's kind of small, not that big yet. It's medium, but of course he has a bow and arrow, bow in his left hand, and a purple arrow kind of just being pulled out of thin air by his right hand, and he was about to shoot another one. But of course, this is where he dispels all of it and just summons his doll back to normal. And his doll looks to be a little bit bigger than normal. Right now being kind of, well, grabbing one of Sanji's shoulders, mostly the left shoulder. And of course, just kind of grinning and kind of having his hand like up to his mouth and just laughing. Like if he's trying to stun some laughter or anything. This is where, well, he has his wings being bigger, and he doesn't look like the 24-inch kind of, what's it called, little doll demon. He now looks quite big, but, well, Sanji is the height of, well, original canon Sanji is actually 5.5, and his demonic creature is actually the height of being, what's it called, well, mostly 4'9", so of course, it's a little bit bigger than the last time they saw it, but yeah, 4 feet, 9 inches, but yeah. This is where, well, he is right now calculating behind, well, Sanji. And of course, well, the doll went back to normal, back into his ring, but it became, well, his ring became almost looking like a kind of, well, mostly the ring seemed to extend to kind of look like that, but bracelet connected with his hand. But yeah, this is where, well, Sanji looks at them and says, yo, you guys seems to be kind of shocked, and you guys got here a little bit late, didn't you? This is where, well, Leonard and Issei scoff, and this is where Issei chuckles and says, it seems that you got in stronger, didn't you? This is where Sanji says, of course. I told you I would have catch up to you. This is where Leonard scoffs and says, catch up? How the fuck you made a fucking arrow appear out of nowhere? Actually, how the fuck can you even do that with your doll? I thought you can just use purple flames. I didn't know you can create stuff with it. Well, a little bit of testing is all I needed to figure out stuff. This is where he says, I would ask you on how you managed to make your doll bigger, but it seems to have gotten bigger and stronger than normal. I sensed it. Yep, and I also have special tricks up my sleeve if we ever fight, Issei. Issei just kind of grins and says, oh, you want to fight, don't you? This is where Sanji grins and says, not right now, but if one day comes to shove, I'm going to definitely kick your ass. Issei chuckles and says, kick who? Sorry, I don't talk to weaklings. This is where Sanji scoffs and says, fuck you. But this is where, well, when they were kind of bickering, the girl started waking up, and this is where, well, Sanji got down and says, "Hey, are you okay?" This is where, well, the green-haired girl kind of nodded and says, "Yeah, I think." This is where, well, she had kind of green emerald eyes, and this is where, well, she kind of looks at mostly Sanji, what's it called, Leonard and Issei. Of course, she doesn't know their names, but this is where, well, Sanji asks in what her name is. This is where, well, she kind of says, the name's Maya. This is where, well, Sanji says, "Oh, well, hello there, Maya. Do you remember anything what happened last time?" I can't really remember. I see. So a little bit of amnesia. Well, come along. I'll bring you towards what's it called, the nearest hospital. This is where, well, she nodded. This is where, well, she gets up and kind of follows, well, Sanji. This is where, well, Leonard and Issei looks at each other. This is where Leonard says, "Aren't you going to erase her memories?" She seems to have amnesia. She probably won't remember, and she probably won't even believe that she even saw that creature. This is where, well, Leonard says, "That's a good idea. Well, we should probably be going then." "Yeah, I would just text Sanji that I'm going home or something. I need to keep training." Same. This is where, well, they disappear in an instant, just flashed up away, but yeah. This is where, well, Sanji gets towards the hospital and just tell her to just go inside and just tell them that you have amnesia or something. Or mostly Sanji helped her out, and yeah. This is where, well, the nurses and doctors understood it, blah, 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 but yeah. This is where Sanji waves her off and says that he needs to be going home, but yeah. This is where, well, the girl nodded while while Sanji kind of left, but yeah. Sanji is getting home, and this is where, well, he is thinking of, what's it called, keep training, but yeah. He has the whole weekend for himself, so it's better to just train. This is where, well, Issei is right now just talking with his son, but yeah, and of course, this is where Leonard, he's just training right now near a river and trying to get stronger in controlling his Ryasu, but yeah. So this is how mostly Sanji's kind of like ring kind of connects to. It looks like this, but mostly it's one ring in the middle finger and then just the bracelet being connected. It has a little chain underneath, mostly like a chain key or something like that. The chain key kind of looks like the ball, but it's purple, and his ring is purple. And the chains are kind of a purplish color, but yeah. But with that happening, they kind of just decided to train that weekend. And of course, kind of train the next week, but yeah. Mostly in their same kind of schedule. But Issei mostly trained with Shinkai to get him stronger, but yeah. But other than that, I'm going to leave it off here for part 6 of this What If. But yeah. But for right now, yeah, I'm going to go on, probably do another What If later, maybe. I don't know. But other than that, bye. See you, and yeah.